Let's take a second to talk about the First Amendment, shall we? Let's read it. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Well, it says Congress shall make no law. That's interesting. Well, Congress is an institution of the federal government. Yet at the same time, we see that state governments are not allowed to do the same thing. They have the same limitations upon them. Realistically, any government in this country is not allowed to violate this First Amendment. So why do I talk about this? Well, because we've seen a wave of removals from social media. And the argument is, well, they're private companies. They can do whatever they want. Okay. So private companies can do what they want, but government can't. I'm glad it's so clear. Or is it? What does government really mean? What is a government? Well, a government is just the body that governs. Oh, but what does it mean to govern, and what does it mean to be governed? Well, words have ideas. Words are an expression of ideas. So, if I attach a governor to a motor, well, that's something that's controlling how fast the motor is turning. Usually by limitation, but it could be otherwise. So that's what it means to govern and be governed, is to have your actions limited. Let's look at a different example from social media, shall we? What was it, a month or two ago? I think it was a couple months ago. The IMF, pretty sure it's the IMF. You can go look on the YouTube channel of the IMF, or it was either them or the World Economic Forum, but I'm pretty sure it was the IMF that came together and said, banks should be able to control who spends their money where. And of course I'm paraphrasing and reading between the lines, but if a bank doesn't want you to spend your money somewhere, they can just stop you from it. They should be able to just stop you from it. If a bank doesn't want you to transfer your money to the account of some other person, no, they should be able to stop you from it. Oh, but banks are private companies as well, aren't they? But I'm sure that's not really important. I don't even know why I went off on that tangent. Let's get back to the discussion at hand. What does it mean to govern and be governed? Well, the fact is that social media companies and banks and other places govern much of our lives. They govern every action of all of their customers in some way or form. So, now we have to look at the distinction a little differently then. So when it talks about the First Amendment, or with respect to the First Amendment, we make the distinction. Well, the government can't do any of the things that's restricted by the First Amendment, and by government we mean the government that operates under the rubric of the Constitution and all the state entities that are within, as well as territories. But other institutions, well, they're free to do whatever they want. Well, that was really easy to clear up. It was really easy to make those distinctions. So why did I even bother to make this video then?